It's Saturday, August 27th. Yesterday, I ranted about the college tuition refund plan or forgiveness plan. And I can tell you from my experience as a boss and as an employer, you make many decisions that affect your employees. And you always, if you're a decent boss, you have their best interests at heart. But it doesn't matter how good your decisions are and how happy 90% of the people are. There are always 10% who are dissatisfied with whatever decision you make. And as I look at the tuition forgiveness plan, I see more than 10% of the people are unhappy with the plan. And they're unhappy for many reasons. The first big question was, how much is this going to cost? Well, some experts are estimating that it will cost taxpayers $2,000. It will cost each taxpayer in this country $2,000 for this loan forgiveness plan. Now, and that $2,000 is based upon the fact that around 8 million students received the forgiveness payments. So I can bet you that more than 10% of the people who realize that they're paying that much money out of their taxes will not be happy with this decision. And there are more than many who, when they look at this, realize that this is not doing much to improve the higher education system in this country. In fact, it's probably not doing anything at all to improve that situation. There are also many who think this might add to inflation. I'm not in that class. I don't worry about inflation right now. I don't think this is going to add anything significant to inflation. And there are bunches of people who don't think that the president has the right to wave a pen and make this decision happen. But you know, the way this country is set up, if he has to wait for the rest of the government to get in line and take care of this situation, it might take years. So there's a time to take action, and he has the right to take that action in my mind. Even if I disagree with it in some way, shape, or form, he still has the right to do it. And then we have most of the population who didn't go to college. And they're looking at themselves and saying, what about me? I don't get any help. How come I'm not getting help? I'm stuck in this crummy $15 an hour job. And what about all the people who paid off their loans already and are out that money? And what makes the number $125,000 sacred or $250,000 a family? Why isn't that number higher? In many parts of this country, you make $125,000, you're not well off. In that you have to look at where the people live. So if you live in some place where the cost of living is not like New York or California, then you should be able to make adjustments to the amount of money those people get. Now you can say, well, it's your fault you choose to live in California or New York or Chicago or some high-priced place like that. But let's take a realistic look at that. That's where the jobs are. People are not going to live someplace where there aren't jobs, you know. I'm not going to Montana because there's no job for me in Montana, or there's very few jobs for me in Montana or Wyoming or Idaho. So this picture that I'm painting here right now is a picture of a lack of exploration. And it took how long to come to these decisions? I don't think it took long at all. I don't think they thought about it for months and months and months, and they said, oh shit, we got to do this thing. And so they put together this plan, and it's based on some other plans that they have. But they haven't considered all of the ramifications. People who are unhappy with this plan have a perfectly good right to be unhappy. And what about the people who went off to college and for whatever reason didn't complete their college education? Probably there are many of them who need some relief also from the loan situation. Take a good look at it. Some colleges will take any student, even if they're not qualified, just to collect the money. And if they've done that disservice to a student, then they don't deserve to get the tuition. And then there are just other students who have run into personal crisis in their lives, and they couldn't complete the college course. So what about those people? They're stuck with those huge loans, and nobody has factored them into this situation. And I think they should have been factored into this situation. And maybe that would have taken some additional work to factor them in and have a methodology to decide how to give them a fair share of this money. But of course, that would have meant a couple more days of sitting around the table and figuring out this stuff. So there are many, many holes in this tuition reimbursement plan. Many holes in it. Many people have been left out of the cycle inadvertently, or maybe because they don't count, or they didn't have the right income level, or all of those things. Because certainly maybe you should even be looking at family size. If a family's making $125,000 a year, but they have 6 kids, that's a factor too. If I have a one child, I'm in an entirely different financial situation. Now, of course, one can say, you're stupid to have 6 kids on $120,000. And they would be right. But nevertheless, that's a situation that we have never considered. If you look at our welfare system, there's no cap on the amount of children that can be born into our welfare system and be taken care of. So there are lots of things that go on in this country that really, really need attention. And this tuition refund situation is one of them that didn't get the appropriate attention. And what about taking a good hard look at the college tuitions themselves? Why? Why the hell are they so high? Should we not be pressuring them to reduce the college tuition? Should we not expect the colleges to have good reasons why their tuitions are so high? They have been let alone to decide how much to charge. They look at the world and the universe and see that there are many, many people who want to come to school, and so they raise their prices. Is that the right thing to do? Is there a justification for the prices to be as high as they are? For colleges to have huge endowments and funnel that money away and not put it into the educational system? There's much to be reviewed. There's much, much, much to be reviewed. And we are treating colleges like they're businesses, and they really shouldn't be treated like a business. Yes, there are expenses. And yes, you have to pay good people a lot of money to come and teach at your school. But there are limits to everything. And we in the United States are not paying attention. The colleges can run rampant. And they have run rampant, and they've gotten away with murder. We have colleges that have endowments in the billions of dollars. Now, I have to admit that many of those schools do a lot, and they have programs for the people who are in the lower income levels. So you don't have to pay the full freight of tuition in many of these schools with high endowments. But you still have to be qualified to go there. So this is a huge problem, education in this country. A huge, huge problem. And just because we gave some money back to students, that doesn't mean we've come even close to solving the problems at the core. We need to get to the bottom of this.